It's one of the most painful, private, and frustrating moments a person can go through. You're on the toilet, you feel the stool right there at the exit, a pressure-filled promise of relief. But it's stuck, it won't move, so you push, you strain, your face gets hot, you feel a surge of pressure in your head and a sharp, unwelcome pain starts to build. Minutes feel like hours, you're left feeling bloated, defeated, and sometimes in real physical pain from the effort. This experience of having a stool stuck in the rectum is incredibly common, yet we often suffer through it in silence, making the problem worse with every desperate push. What if I told you that the solution to this agonizing moment isn't to push harder? What if a board-certified colorectal surgeon could share a simple rescue remedy that can bring relief? A remedy that doesn't rely on harsh laxatives that can cause cramping and take all day to work. What if one of the secrets to that relief was likely already sitting in your kitchen or medicine cabinet? In this video, I'm going to pull back the curtain on this deeply uncomfortable topic. I'll share a small dose secret that can help soften and clear a stuck stool from your rectum, providing you with gentle relief. And just as importantly, I'm going to show you the exact techniques and long-term strategies to make sure you rarely, if ever, find yourself in this painful, straining situation again. Stay with me, because this is information you'll want to remember. Let's be direct. The feeling is unmistakable. It's not the vague, crampy feeling of general constipation higher up in your colon. It's that distinct, localized sensation of a hard, dry stool lodged in the final few inches of your digestive tract, refusing to pass. You know it's there, your body is telling you it's time to go, but the exit is blocked. In that moment of panic and discomfort, our instinct is to bear down and use sheer force to solve the problem. But I'm here to tell you, as a colorectal surgeon who has treated thousands of patients for the consequences of this exact action, that intense straining is one of the worst things you can do. You're not helping the situation, you're actively risking harm. Hello, my name is Dr. Alex Carter, and I am a board-certified colorectal surgeon. For years in my practice, I've seen the painful aftermath of chronic constipation and straining. Patients come to me with bleeding, intense pain, and conditions that have profoundly diminished their quality of life. And so often the root cause traces back to those repeated high-pressure moments on the toilet. It's time to reframe this entire problem. Pushing harder isn't a sign of effort, it's a sign that your body's mechanics are working against you. Let's break down exactly what's happening inside your body and why it's so dangerous. First, a quick anatomy lesson. Think of your lower digestive tract as a final pathway with a crucial gatekeeper. The last part of your colon is the rectum, which is a storage chamber for stool. When it's full, it sends a signal to your brain that it's time for a bowel movement. The stool then needs to pass through the anal canal to exit the body. Now, here's the critical part. There's a muscle called the puborectalis muscle that wraps around your rectum like a sling. When you are sitting upright on a typical toilet, this muscle is partially contracted. It creates a sharp bend, or what we call an anorectal angle. Think of a garden hose. If you put a sharp kink in the hose, you can turn the water pressure all the way up, but only a trickle will come out. This is precisely what happens when you sit at a 90-degree angle on the toilet. The puborectalis muscle creates a kink in your colon, and when you strain against that kink, you're trying to force matter through a partially blocked tube. What happens when you generate all that force? This is where the damage begins. The technical term for this straining action is the Valsalva maneuver. You take a breath, hold it, and bear down, which dramatically increases the pressure inside your entire abdominal and chest cavity. This pressure doesn't just push on the stool, it pushes on everything. The blood vessels lining your rectum and anus, the delicate tissues, and your pelvic floor muscles are all put under immense stress. For millions of people, this is a daily struggle, and this repeated pressure creates a cascade of preventable medical problems. Let's talk about the most common consequence, hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids are swollen, inflamed veins in your rectum and anus. The intense pressure from straining forces blood into these veins and prevents it from flowing out, causing them to bulge. External hemorrhoids can cause sharp pain and itching, while internal ones are prone to bleeding. You might see bright red blood on the toilet paper or in the bowl. While common, they are often a direct result of excessive pressure. Next, and often more painful, are anal fissures. Imagine the tissue lining your anal canal. It's incredibly delicate. When you try to force a large, hard stool through that narrow, kinked passage, it can literally tear the skin. An anal fissure is a small tear in this lining, and the pain is often described as sharp, searing, or like passing glass. This pain can last for hours and creates a vicious cycle. Because it hurts to go, people subconsciously hold it in, which only makes the stool harder and drier, preventing the fissure from healing. If straining continues for years, we can see even more serious structural damage, like rectal prolapse. This is a condition where constant, immense pressure is a major risk factor that weakens the muscles and ligaments holding your rectum in place. Over time, the rectum itself can begin to slide out of its normal position and protrude from the anus. This is a serious condition that can require surgical repair, and chronic straining is a significant contributor. Finally, all this straining takes a toll on your pelvic floor muscles. And yes, this is a concern for all genders. These muscles form a supportive sling at the base of your pelvis, essential for bowel control. Chronic straining can contribute to pelvic floor dysfunction, a condition where the muscles may either weaken or, in many cases, have trouble coordinating and relaxing properly. This can lead to a host of problems, including fecal incontinence and, ironically, a worsening of the constipation itself. The message here is urgent and clear: straining is not the solution, it is a major part of the problem. So, you're in that moment. You're on the toilet, you feel that stuck stool, and you now know that pushing is off the table. What do? You need a rescue. Not something that will take 12 hours and potentially cause cramping all day, but something that can work gently to resolve the immediate problem. For this specific situation, the feeling of a hard stool stuck right at the end, the most direct approach is often a rectal one. A simple glycerin suppository is a fantastic choice here. It works locally, right where the problem is, by drawing water into the stool and lubricating the area, typically prompting a bowel movement within 15 to 60 minutes. It's fast, targeted, and gentle. However, maybe you don't have suppositories on hand, or you prefer an oral option. There is a classic remedy that can help: milk of magnesia. Now, before you dismiss this as old-fashioned, let's talk about why it works. Milk of magnesia is the brand name for magnesium hydroxide, and it's an osmotic laxative. In simple terms, it works by pulling water into your intestines from the surrounding body tissues. It's like a water magnet. This influx of water softens hard, dry stool, and the increased volume also gently stimulates the natural wave-like contractions of your bowel muscles. But for a rescue, the dose and method are key. The standard laxative dose on the bottle, typically 2 to 4 tablespoons, is designed to work on the whole colon over several hours. For a gentler, more targeted effect, some people find success with a much smaller dose. Here's a protocol to consider for occasional relief. Step 1. The small dose. Consider a dose of just 1 single teaspoon. Now, this isn't a standard microdose with specific clinical trials, but it's a much smaller amount than the full laxative dose. The idea here is to gently encourage softening without the full system flush that a large dose can cause. Please, do not take more, thinking it will work better or faster. Step 2. The timing. Taking it on an empty stomach may allow it to pass into the intestines more quickly and begin its work. While this isn't a strict rule, it can definitely improve efficiency. Step 3. The catalyst. You must take that 1 teaspoon with a full 8-ounce glass of water. Remember, magnesium hydroxide is a water magnet. It needs water to work. If you're dehydrated, it has no water to pull into the colon, and the remedy may not be as effective. The water is really an active part of the process. So, just to recap the protocol: 1 teaspoon of milk of magnesia, ideally on an empty stomach, followed immediately by a full 8-ounce glass of water. What should you expect? The beauty of this approach is its relative speed. You may feel a gentle urge for a bowel movement in as little as 30 minutes, though it can take up to 6 hours. It shouldn't be a violent, cramp-filled rush, but yeah, some cramping is possible. The stool you pass should be noticeably softer. Now, a very serious disclaimer: this is an occasional rescue remedy only. It's for those acute moments of feeling stuck. If you need this more than once a week, it's a sign of an underlying issue that needs to be addressed with the long-term strategies we'll discuss. Furthermore, it is critical to distinguish between simple constipation and a bowel obstruction, which is a medical emergency. Signs of an obstruction include severe wave-like abdominal pain, significant swelling, nausea and vomiting, and being unable to pass any gas or stool. If you have these symptoms, do not take any laxatives and seek immediate medical evaluation. Finally, individuals with kidney disease should be cautious with magnesium products and always consult their doctor before taking milk of magnesia, as their kidneys may have difficulty clearing the magnesium. With those safety points covered, you now have a couple of emergency tools, but honestly, a tool is only as good as the technique. Softening the stool is half the battle, the other half is creating a clear, straight exit path. The rescue remedy softens the stool, but to truly stop straining for good, you must fix the mechanical problem we talked about, that kink in your colon. For the last 150 years or so, many of us in the Western world have been pooping in a position that is fundamentally flawed. Sitting at a 90-degree angle with your feet flat on the floor is a major contributor to straining. As we established, this position keeps the puborectalis muscle partially constricted, maintaining that sharp angle in your rectum. It's kind of like trying to drive a car with the parking brake partially on. The natural human position for defecation is squatting. When you squat, your hips are positioned in a way that causes the puborectalis muscle to fully relax. This releases the sling around your rectum, allowing the anorectal angle to straighten out. The kink in the hose disappears. You're left with a straight shot from the rectum to the anus. Now, I'm not suggesting you remodel your bathroom. We can get the benefits of squatting while using our modern toilets with one simple tool: a small footstool. Brand name products are great, but a stack of old books or a yoga block that's about 7 to 9 inches high works perfectly too. Let's walk through the steps to achieving the perfect pooping posture. Step 1. Sit down and elevate your feet. Sit on the toilet and put your feet up on the footstool. The goal is to get your knees comfortably higher than your hips. This change in angle starts to mimic a squat and relax that critical muscle. Step 2. Lean forward. Now hinge at your hips and lean your torso forward. Rest your elbows on your thighs, like the famous thinker statue. This forward lean deepens the squat-like position and further helps straighten the colon. Step 3. Bulge your belly. This is a subtle but powerful shift. Instead of pushing down, which tenses everything, focus on bulging your abdomen forward. Imagine you have a balloon in your belly you're gently trying to inflate. This creates a gentle downward pressure without the harmful straining. Step 4. Relax and breathe. This is so often overlooked. Straining is an act of tension. Relief is an act of relaxation. Close your mouth and breathe slowly and deeply through your nose. As you inhale, let your belly expand. As you exhale, allow the muscles in your abdomen, pelvis, and especially your anus, to relax and open. You have to consciously give your body permission to let go. When you combine these steps, knees above hips, leaning forward, bulging the belly, and deep breathing, you create the optimal alignment for an easy bowel movement. The path is straight and the muscles are relaxed. It should be a gentle release, not a high-pressure event. A final point: don't linger on the toilet. It's not a library or a phone booth. If nothing happens after 5 minutes, get up, walk around, and wait for the urge to return more strongly. Building a strain-free future. Long-term prevention. The rescue remedy is your emergency button. Proper posture is your technique. Now let's build a lifestyle where you almost never need that emergency button again. The goal is not just to treat constipation. It's to create a system that is naturally and effortlessly regular. This is built on 4 pillars. Pillar 1. The fiber foundation. You've heard it before, but let's talk about why it's so critical. Fiber is the backbone of a healthy stool, but not all fiber is the same. You need both types. First, soluble fiber, which dissolves in water to form a gel. Think of what happens when you add water to oatmeal. This gel softens the stool and helps it move smoothly. Great sources include oats, barley, beans, apples, and carrots. Second, insoluble fiber. This doesn't dissolve but acts like a sponge, adding bulk and weight to your stool. This bulk gives your colon muscles something to grip and push against. You'll find it in whole grains, nuts, seeds, and vegetables like cauliflower and green beans. How much do you need? Guidelines recommend adults aim for about 25 to 38 grams of fiber per day, depending on age and sex. Most people get less than half of that. A word of caution: increase your fiber intake slowly. Adding too much too fast can cause gas, bloating, and cramping. Start by adding 1 extra serving of fruits or veggies a day. A few constipation-fighting superfoods. Prunes are famous for a reason. They contain fiber and sorbitol, a natural sugar alcohol with a mild laxative effect. Studies have also shown that eating 2 kiwis a day can significantly improve regularity. Pillar 2 is what I like to call the hydration highway. This pillar is, honestly, inseparable from the first. Fiber without water is like trying to mix concrete without water. It just makes things worse. You must drink enough fluid to let the fiber do its job. The old 8 glasses a day rule is a decent start. But, a better guide is actually the color of your urine. It should be pale yellow. If it's dark, you need to drink more. And water, by the way, is always the best choice. Pillar. Thorsteinfurwort the Pincom Copri Cure Ganbai. Movement is medicine. A sedentary lifestyle is a major contributor to constipation. Regular physical activity stimulates the natural contractions of your intestinal muscles, helping to move things along. But you don't need to run a marathon. A brisk 20 to 30-minute walk each day can have a profound impact. Pillar 4. The rhythm and routine. Your body loves a routine, and your bowels are no exception. First, and most importantly, never ignore the urge to go. When you ignore the signal, the stool remains in the rectum, where more water is absorbed from it, making it harder and drier. So, when your body tells you it's time, find a bathroom. Second, try to establish a regular time for a bowel movement. For many people, the best time is 15 to 45 minutes after breakfast, which stimulates the gastrocolic reflex, a wave of contractions in the colon. Try to set aside a few unrushed minutes after your morning meal to sit on the toilet, using your proper posture, of course. Make it a calm, stress-free ritual. So, we've covered the physical side of things, the remedy, the posture, and of course the 4 pillars. But there's one final piece to this puzzle, the mental component. It's really about the relaxation of your mind. The gut and brain are, intricately connected. When you're stressed or anxious, your body actually enters a fight or flight state. This tenses muscles all over your body, including your colon and pelvic floor. You simply cannot have a relaxed, easy bowel movement when your mind is on high alert. Here's a powerful mindfulness exercise you can do right on the toilet. When you sit down, before you make any effort, just close your eyes. Take 3 slow, deep breaths. Inhale through your nose for a count of 4, hold for a count of 4, and then exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. As you exhale, consciously visualize the muscles in your jaw relaxing, then your shoulders, then your abdomen. Finally, visualize the muscles of your pelvic floor letting go, softening, and opening. This simple act of releasing tension can be incredibly helpful in creating the right conditions for your body to work naturally. We have traveled the entire length of the digestive tract today, from the painful problem of a stuck stool to the foundational strategies for a lifetime of digestive health. I genuinely hope this guide has given you clarity, hope, and actionable steps you can start using today. If this video has helped you, I have 2 small requests. First, please go to the comments and write the word relief. This does more than just help the video, it creates a community of support. When someone new finds this video, seeing a long list of people who have found relief can give them the confidence to make a change. Your one word can be a beacon of hope. Second, if you want to keep learning how to take control of your digestive health with evidence-based information, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I have so much more to share to help you live a healthier, more comfortable life. Let's quickly recap the game plan for a strain-free life. First, for emergencies when you feel stuck, you have your rescue options. A glycerin suppository is a fast, local option. For an oral choice, a small dose, 1 teaspoon, of milk of magnesia on an empty stomach with a full glass of water can offer gentle relief within a few hours. Remember, these are for occasional acute situations only. Second, you have your technique for every single bowel movement. Adopt the squatting posture. Use a footstool, lean forward, and breathe. Unkink the hose and let your body work with you. Third, and most importantly, you have your long-term prevention strategy built on 4 pillars: fiber, fluids, fitness, and following the urge. Build these into your daily life, and finally remember the power of a calm mind. Release the stress, and you help release your body. You do not have to live with the daily pain, bloating, and frustration of constipation. You have the knowledge and the tools to take control. Be patient with your body. Be consistent with these practices, and you can achieve the goal we all deserve: comfortable, regular, and completely strain-free bowel movements. Final medical disclaimer. The information provided in this video is for educational and informational purposes only, and is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Never disregard professional medical advice or delay in seeking it because of something you have seen in this video.